Parents are getting overstimulated usually because they're not used to the whole situation, and then added to it being with their children so much more 24/7. And that is just requires several things from us as parents. First of all, lower your standards. Don't make it too hard on yourself. This is a time to get through, and maybe a time to enjoy. When you look back on it, I think you and your children both will look back as this being a really unusual time indeed. And so make some memories out of it. But at the same time, you have to get some downtime. And it makes a difference how many children you have and whether you have a partner at home. But be sure that you find some way to do that. So that may mean loosening up about devices, for instance. And I was just reading an article in the research on, whether there's a lot of harm done by children watching television or being on their computers. And it's not clear cut by any means. And one thing they know for sure is that when parents watch a TV show with the child a few times and get to know the characters so that they're involved in the show, they don't have to watch all the time. They do say that if parents will watch TV with children, that they get more from it. But it doesn't have to be every single show. If you kind of know the movie or you have watched the show a few times, then you can talk about the characters. What happened? Tell me what happened in this one. And so you can get those things done that you need so desperately to do, because I know the dishes are probably piling up because you're cooking 3 meals a day for everybody, whoever's in the house. It's a lot. I think it's good to talk with kids about how they're feeling. You know that they're picking up on your own emotions. If you're anxious, well, we'll talk more about anxiety in another episode, we'll call it. But I want you to keep an eye on your children's feelings, because when you don't, often things get much more difficult. And that's inevitable because children don't know how to express their feelings unless we help them. So, and that includes teenagers. So having a really comfortable relationship about talking about what's going on for everybody, family meetings, sitting together and talking at the meal about what everybody's feeling is very valuable. I imagine at this point people are getting restless, maybe angry about being shut in so much, and all that has to be taken in, as well as the anxiety. You don't have to take it super seriously. You don't have to internalize it or assume that it's a terrible thing. But it is important to let the kids talk about it. And in that regard, a little bit from your own feelings, if they seem pretty obvious anyway, is kind of helpful. Children are quite resilient, and we don't have to worry horribly about what's going to happen to them. In fact, some difficulties don't hurt. I know one family's having trouble getting the food the kids like to eat. So they're having to learn, if they don't have orange juice, maybe they'll have to drink carrot juice. And when they get hungry, they go ahead and do it. So those are some ideas about this parenting in place or sheltering in place. I think it's much more parenting in place for some of you, and I hope that helps. Hope that helps, Diana.
Elaine, I have one question. I bet a lot of parents get very overstimulated in this situation, being with their children, with their other half in the closed space. How can you take downtime when you really maybe cannot go out into nature, cannot leave the house? What's the best way to take downtime?
If you've got more than one room, then you have to go to that other room. I know some people don't even have an extra room, in which case sit at the window and look out and have a silent time if possible. If your children can't be quiet, have a quiet time. And close your eyes, because 80% of the stimulation comes through our eyes. So if you can close your eyes for a little while, that helps. And it's, of course, if you have a partner, you take turns with that downtime. And I really recommend meditation. And if you haven't already learned meditation, then this might not be an easy time to start. But some quiet time without devices for yourself, no music, no news, And just a word about news is that the media is a huge source of stimulation right now. So I recommend to highly sensitive people that they not pay much attention to news. I know it's very addictive kind of, but ask someone who's enjoying following all the ins and outs of what's happening to the virus and the vaccinations and the number of deaths and all of this. I recommend that you let them give you a news report twice a day from all their following it, and otherwise don't pay any attention to it. I think our minds have to go to the bigger picture of life before and after what's going on now.